But guys, let's move on into our 11 through 20. First off, want to thank our patrons. We didn't show the graphic earlier on, so I want to show the graphic right now. Twitch has been popping off. We took a short break because Dave had to take a bathroom break. I'll say it that way instead of taking a tinkle.
Now people thought he took a dump.
Maybe. It would have been longer if he took a dump, you know what I'm saying?
True.
But if you want to be a patron, go ahead and check out patreon.com/podcast.
Why does this have to come up?
Why the fuck are we doing this?
Rob Vick even said that when he gets back from the Dominican Republic, he's joining the $10 tier.
Shout out our guy, Rob.
We're going to be having Rob on the podcast very soon. But we're jumping into 11 through 20. If you're on YouTube, want to check out our 1 through 10, it will be up on YouTube. But 11 through 20, we're going to start by just giving our picks, getting it out there. Sean, we'll start with you. What do you got?
Yeah, Kings, I have them taking Onyeka Okongwu, center out of USC. They don't really have a center now. They just traded away Dwayne Dedmon. There's no real guy right there. They have Marvin Bagley, but he's more of a 4. So
Giles.
You got... Okay, what has Harry Giles been doing?
Hard for Harry.
Yeah, all right.
He just had a great game, actually. He had.
How many great games has he had in his career?
Is that the hashtag we're starting? The hashtag hard for Harry?
That's a Kings thing. It's not me.
Okay.
I'll go on Onyeka Okongwu as a safety valve. All right. What if Harry Giles doesn't pan out?
Okay.
I'll go Onyeka Okongwu. At 12, I have the Suns going Obi Toppin, forward out of Dayton. 13, I have the Pelicans going Devin Vassell, guard forward out of Florida State. Then 14, I have the Spurs going Denny Avdia, forward playing over in the EuroLeague. 15, Magic going with Nico Mannion, guard at Arizona. 16, T-Wolves via the Nets, Precious Achiuwa, forward from Memphis. Then 17, Celtics via the Grizzlies, Vernon Carey Jr., center out of Duke. Then 18, I have the Mavericks going Theo Maledon, guard out of International. Then at 19, I have the Nets via the Sixers going Aaron Nesmith, guard out of Vanderbilt. And then finally at 20, I have the Bucks via the Pacers going Josh Green, guard out of Arizona.
All right. So at number 11, I've got the Kings taking Devin Vassell, the Wang out of Florida State. Wangs for days. At 12, I've got the Suns taking Obi Toppin, forward from Dayton. It was written like a week into the season that the Suns were taking him. So it's just one of those things where wherever the Suns end up at in the draft, that's where Obi Toppin goes. At number 13, I've got the Pelicans taking Aaron Nesmith out of Vandy. At 14, I've got the Spurs taking Jaden McDaniels, forward from Washington. At 15, the Magic taking RJ Hampton, international. At 16, I've got the T-Wolves taking Tyrese Maxey, guard from Kentucky. At 17, I've got the Celtics taking Zeke Naji, center out of Arizona. At number 18, I've got the Mavericks taking Daniel Oturu, the center from Minnesota. 19, I've got the Nets taking Jalen Smith, the forward from Maryland. And at 20, I've got the Bucks taking Trey Jones from Duke.
And then to round things out, my 11 through 20. At 11, the Kings go Jaden McDaniels, forward from the Washington Huskies. Then, like Sean and Dave, Obi Toppin, forward from Dayton, going to the Phoenix Suns. Then Isaac Okoro, forward from Auburn, going to the New Orleans Pelicans. Then, from right here in Chicago, Paul Reed from DePaul, going to the San Antonio Spurs at number 14. Then a little bit of a faller in mine, Denny Abdia, forward from overseas. He goes to the Orlando Magic at 15. Then the T-Wolves via the Nets at 16. They're going to go Trey Jones, guard out of Duke. Then his teammate goes to the Celtics via the Grizzlies at 17, Vernon Carey Jr., the center. Then the Mavericks at 18 going Josh Green, guard from Arizona. The Nets via the Sixers go Jalen Smith, forward from Maryland. And then rounding the top 20 out, the Bucks via the Pacers, they're going to go with Theo Maledon, the guard from France. So we're going to start things off with the T-Wolves. And earlier on, so if you're on YouTube and didn't watch our 1 through 10, our picks earlier on for the Wolves with their 7th overall pick. Sean had RJ Hampton. I had Tyrese Maxey. Dave had Denny Abdia going to the Wolves. And we're going to talk about now what could they possibly do with this new pick that they got in the D'Lo trade coming over from Atlanta. It was the Nets pick. It came over in the Allen Crabbe trade. Now it goes to the T-Wolves in the D'Lo trade. And with me, I just wanted to start here. This is why I didn't have the Wolves go with that guard early on, because they could have went with a point guard. They could have got their backup guard to D'Angelo Russell. But I don't think they needed to do that. That's why I went with the Tyrese Maxey that I kind of see more as a 2 than a 1, because a guy like Trey Jones will be here. And yes, Trey Jones might not be one of the point guards like the LaMelo Balls, like the Nico Mannions, like the Killian Hayes, but he's efficient to me. I liked him last year in Duke. I like him this year at Duke. Can play defense, can pass the ball around. He can be a solidified backup behind D'Angelo Russell. And I know T-Wolves fans might roll their eyes because it's like,
Another
we
Jones.
had Tyus Jones, and that didn't really work out. So what makes you think Trey Jones will work out? I don't know. I think Trey Jones could be a good pick for them here with the Nets pick.
Yeah, I don't know if they're looking point guard or not. I mean, clearly they could use one. They don't have Jeff Teague. Who else is their backup now behind D'Angelo Russell?
Literally no one.
They don't have anybody. They also traded Shabazz Napier as well.
Yep.
But with that, I don't know if they're going to look too heavily to look and invest into a backup point guard position. I think they might look into a potential pick. And that's what my 2 picks were. I went R.J. Hampton a little bit earlier. I think he could be a guard, a 2 or 3. Along with Jared Culver. I could play on the outside, play defense, hopefully shoot from the outside. I think Hampton also has ball creative ability, but I think I'm going to go with Precious Achiuwa from Memphis here because he brings a lot of hustle. He brings a lot of fire. I think that he does lack from the outside, although he has decent splits. I think his free throw percentages are bad from what I remember, but he actually, I think he's shooting decently from 3, but it's not enough percentages to actually move the needle. But what I do like is he's very aggressive. He reminds me a lot of Jordan Hill.
Great shooting splits.
Back in the day.
51, 40, 58.
Yeah, so there it is.
But on
good
threes, I don't think he's taking one a game.
Good 3 percentage.
One whole one.
Yeah, he's 22, 9 to 22. So that's what I was thinking. He's not taking a ton, but they have gone in when he has shot them. But it doesn't seem like something that can be extrapolated to he's going to be a good 3-point shooter in the NBA.
Considering his free throw percentage is poop.
Yeah, so I 58.1% from the line. So I do think of him as a Jordan Hill player, guy with a lot of energy, can rebound, grabs a lot of offensive boards, nearly 3 a game. And I think that'd be good for a team that I hope looks to spread the floor with Cat, with D'Lo, with Jared Culver, with R.J. Hampton, who they select earlier in this draft. He could sit around the boards and pull in offensive boards and hopefully get second chance points. And I think he could be a good cutter as well and add something outside of the 4 shooters on their team.
And the thing that I like about Precious, although right now I still have him outside the top 20, is I heard this on ESPN during one of the Memphis games, and I really agree with it, is if there's anyone that is benefiting the most from the James Wiseman not playing this year, it's Precious.
100%.
Because if James Wiseman was there, he would have basically an umbrella over him where it's like, oh man, look at how great James Wiseman is. Look at how many great things. And it'd be like, hey guys, I'm doing my thing over here. Or
Wiseman not being there means there's no spacing issue.
Role. Yeah, he
doesn't have to play on the outside where he's clearly not as comfortable.
Yeah, he can kind of do his thing. And then at that point, it's like, it becomes the argument, like you said, oh, his free throw percentage is poop. But it comes to the argument where we say with many of these guys, where it's like, I can teach shooting. I can teach you how to shoot. I can't teach you how to do all the other things. The running after loose balls, the grabbing rebounds, the other intangibles. That's like, I just can't teach that. I can't teach a bigger body too, but I can teach you how to shoot.
Yeah.
So like that's what I look at with Precious, where it's like, look at Blake Griffin. He didn't shoot threes when he first came into the league. Now he's shooting threes. So why can't a guy like Precious work on that through his NBA career?
True.
Yeah, and if he's able to add that game, he's just a better pick. And I think his athleticism is really just
that's what you're
gifted.
intrigued by. I mean, that is the package. It's he's got frame, his athleticism, and him being as quick as he is with his size. He's an interesting prospect. I'm not as high on him, but for me, for the Timberwolves at least, I ended up having Tyrese Maxey fall here. Again, we kind of talked about it in the last segment. I feel like he's a worse Kobe White. He's got good upside as a scoring combo guard, but I think that's kind of what they need because I'm not 100% sold on them either moving forward with a 2-guard of the future, whether it is Josh Okogie or whether they do re-sign the guy they literally just got in the trade, and I can't remember.
Alan Crabb?
Nope.
No, not Alan Crabb.
The one with talent.
The RFA.
From
not
the
Jacob
Nuggets.
Evans.
Malik Beasley.
Malik Beasley,
Juancho, Jared Vanderbilt, I think, as well.
Yeah, they got all those guys. But Malik Beasley and Josh Okogie, it's a toss-up this year. We'll see how they both run with that first unit. And I know having another ball handler out there, they already have Jared Culver out there. You can't have enough of that because I feel like with D'Lo, if you have multiple guys who can move the ball, you're just better off for it. So I like Maxey as an upside scoring guard, someone who can take over games at times. But his job is to score first, and that feeds into what he does best. I know Sean mentioned the concerns about having a two-man game with D'Lo and Cat out there, but I think someone who has as good of a scoring touch as he does, and the ability to have explosive games, I feel like that's a good fit. And earlier I had them go with Denny Avdia, balances it out. So you have a wing, you have another guard to add to that group. I'd feel pretty good about that, combo wise. I think all three of us have good answers for the T-Wolves.
Well, and Soapy brings up, I'm assuming this first one's about the point guard, so correct me if I'm wrong, Soapy. He said, I think they can snag a backup in free agency if they have the money. So, maybe they don't go straight point guard. They go more two and then a three with their two picks because, we can get a backup point guard in free agency.
With that as well, I mean, they're going to have I don't know if they gave up their second-round pick in one of those trades.
They gave up a future second.
Next
year's second-round pick.
So they might have their second this year. I don't know off the top of my head.
They do have their second this year.
Cassius Winston.
Next year's second.
Cassius would be a great pick.
And Cassius Winston, 7th. I mean, you're going to have the 38th pick. He might be available. Go Cassius Winston. You can always find a second round. I mean, Cassius Winston's a guy that could step in and play. You don't need to wait and have him sit. He could get 15 minutes a night in the NBA and be fine.
Well, I mean, not even that. I even look at Cassius Winston as one. Marcus Howard's another one. Both you and I, Sean, have him in the first round. I think he will be a first rounder.
Yeah.
But there's a possibility he's not.
There's a possibility he stays for his junior year.
Well, that's a topic for a different day. Then we lose a recruit in is it Adam Miller? Kid from the city of Chicago. Won't come play for us if AO stays. But he's a guy that some draft sites have rated low. So what if he goes or would be a second round pick, would be lower than he was last year? There's options for the T-Wolves. So I think this is good for the Timberwolves of hey, we've got options. We don't have just one pick. We can really nail it down. And, hey, the T-Wolves are a team in the past. They did it last year. You know what? We don't like anyone here. You want to move up? Let's trade down. They're not afraid to do that.
Where do you see, ideal lineup? Is Cat your 4 or your 5?
5. Well, it depends on who's at the 4.
Because that's the
why,
thing. What do you draft?
That's why I drafted Achua.
Because he's kind of the tweener?
You could put him at the 5. And I think that Cat offensively would be your 4. And then if you
Cat
need more
stretches out
size,
better.
you could play him at the 5 defensively. But Achua, I think, does bring a lot of muscle, a lot of speed, a lot of athleticism to make up for it as 6'9", to play a small ball 5. I think that I would put as much shooting as possible in that lineup.
Okay.
Give Cat and D'Lo as much room to work as possible. I know Cat's a great 3-point shooter in himself, but I want that lane cleared. And I would rather have if you can get a spacer at the 4 like an Obi Toppin, you can do that.
Okay. But I mean, then you pretty much just completely given up on defense.
Well, they have D'Angelo Russell and Karl-Anthony Towns as their 1-2, so I think they've already done that.
Going with the old school Darren Moore, double the offense, none of the defense, hope to win games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You could go Achua, Culver, and Hampton and hope that those 3 are good enough.
Yeah.
But no, I think
I
think if you have D'Lo and Cat,
would go a long way for this team. And if for your draft, if
they did get rid of Gorgie, which is huge.
Well, contract wise is huge, but defensively he was fantastic. For
No, that's what I meant. Huge,
cool.
as in that leaves a gap.
Yeah, I look at yours, I'm like, do you think by the time draft rolls around, if Big O were still on your board at 7, would you be even considering going after him as your rim protector?
Yes. Yeah, no, he was in discussion for that 7th overall pick. I think that you could also possibly talk about Zeke Naji moving up as well. I think that he's a guy that you could possibly fill out that role as well. So, I don't think
Because
I don't think a traditional or big role man would be out of the question for them.
Okay.
Or
but I don't know where Cat has had the most success in.
Yeah, that's my
so that's where
I don't know
where
what,
I'm limited. I don't know what I haven't
my
seen D'Lo
lineup is. What do you perfect pair Cat with?
My idea is
Soapy likes him at the 4.
my idea is
And so does Easy.
is D'Lo, Hampton, Culver, Cat, Precious.
Okay.
And play small, play fast.
Okay.
Try to fuck them up.
Yeah, another option I'll throw out there is if they go the trade back route. I'm going to screw up his name, even though I practice it. Daniel Athuru?
Oh my God.
Oturu.
Oturu.
You're making it
Just
complicated.
look at it. Just look at it.
Oturu.
Obviously, looking at it didn't help me.
Yes.
Oturu. Like, if they want, because like, I think of Vernon Carey, they could just take with that pick. But like Oturu, I don't know.
He's a riser.
Like,
I mean, Oturu is in that.
He may
he's
rise
in that
by
range.
draft, but like right now at this point, when we're looking at this, Oturu could be hey, we can trade back. Team wants to trade up. We get some extra draft capital if it could be a second next year because we lost ours for 2021. He could be a guy that you don't have to sacrifice that defense because he plays defense. He
really
rebounds a little. He's got
He's
more
one of the top
rebounding
rebounders
numbers.
in college.
His rebounding numbers are better than Vernon Carey is what I was going to say.
He's just a better player than Vernon Carey.
And he shoots,
Dave does
he
not
can
like
actually
Vernon
shoot from
Carey.
the outside.
Turns out when you're a great college player doesn't mean you're going to be great in the NBA.
Couple things
Scary
from
thought for some kids out there.
Twitch chat I want to bring in about the
No clicks.
about this T-Wolves pick. Is Easy said when you moved it, this moved and it went.
Yeah, it's an accident.
It did. Easy says, and yet again, Knicks fan Easy. So take this what you will. He said I'd trade Frank and DSJ for that pick.
I don't think they would accept it because DSJ is trash.
Sam said that he likes Cat at the 5 or Soapy and Easy more like him at the 4. And then there's obviously Booker talk, but the one Soapy thing I wanted to bring up is back to Precious before we move on.
Yeah.
Soapy said if Wiseman and Precious were both on that team, it would kind of remind him of Bagley Wendell. With the Duke team last year, which that was one where Bagley was the higher pick, but there were a lot of people that were like, I don't know, I think Wendell's better than Bagley. Like, we had that question coming in.
Bagley's a limited player.
Yeah, he was limited.
And he still is.
And they had to use Wendell to cover up for Bagley's defensive deficiencies. But there's two players you guys want to talk about. And I say you guys because one of these guys crept into my draft. After you guys had mentioned him. So we'll see how far he rises. The other one is not in my draft. The first one is Aaron Nesmith.
Nesmith.
Like,
like it's his knee. Like Kneesim or Smith.
So
Nesmith.
Aaron Nesmith.
Nesmith.
He plays at Vanderbilt. Dave, before we started, Nesmith.
Who?
Aaron Nesmith.
There you go.
Plays at Vanderbilt, plays along with Scottie Pippen Jr. But not that Scottie Pippen, his son. Dave said before we started, Nesmith is the best shooter in college right now.
100%.
What is your guys?
Not right now because he's not playing anymore, but yeah.
What are you guys thinking about Nesmith? Because he's a guy that I originally didn't have, but then I snuck into the Lakers at 29.
He's one of those blog boys, you know?
Blog boys.
You start realizing him because somebody out there is just a fucking, just a crackhead for the draft. And you're like, Aaron Nesmith is a great three-point shooter.
So
that's how I found him. And I think he's super intriguing.
He actually had like some his high school shit. He got a lot of publicity, I think, because of a mixtape, and then like he didn't live up right away.
Yeah.
But then all of a
in
sudden,
2018, he was the 63rd prospect.
Yeah, but he has been shooting lights out, and someone who is as big as he is, on the wing, he's perfect for the 2-3 tweener. I think that he is a fantastic shooter. It's exactly what people are looking for. If you want a knockdown shooter, knockdown volume shooter, walks in the NBA and can do it.
It's hilarious too because he had one bad game shooting from three. Two bad games shooting from three. He had a 3 of 12 game and he had a 1 of 6 game. And then he also just in general he had 3 bad games shooting from the field: 5 of 14, 4 of 11, and 6 of 6. But the funny thing is when he went 4 of 11 and 6 of 6, 4 of 11 he was 3 of 6 from 3, and 6 of 16 he was 4 of 8 from 3. So whenever he is shooting, he is still being able to be efficient from somewhere on the floor, and that's what I love about him. He finds a way to score.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Here's my question though.
Yep.
And one I just thought of because he's the same height. He's a little bigger than the player that I'm going to mention from last year, but this player from last year didn't play at a Power 5 school.
Yeah.
But we mostly liked him in the draft late in the first round because he was a shooter. is Nesmith just going to be the Dylan Windler of this draft? Where it's like, wow, he's a really good shooter, and then some team later on in the draft just takes him based solely off of that.
No, he's super athletic, and I think the one thing, too, that is a positive to his game as well is he is very active and very aggressive when it comes to playing defense, and he was also younger than Windler. I mean, Windler was dominating the OVC for fuck's sake. Like, wow,
he went to Belmont, I think.
Dylan Windler beating up the OVC. I wasn't big on Dylan Windler. I don't think I had him. I don't think I had him in my first round. I wasn't big on him.
He shoots more than Dylan Windler and at 8% higher from 3-point.
Yeah, I think
this
is what it shows. This is, I think, if you can make a comparison to him, and this was if he could play a full season, I think he might have had the rise that Culver had. I think if we saw a full season,
Jared Culver,
I think Nesmith could have had the same rise. Didn't play a ton of his freshman year, like Culver. Culver had played more in his second year, and he had that rise. And I think that if Nesmith played a little bit more, and I don't know if Vanderbilt would have been as good as Texas Tech the last year, and that was another reason why Culver rose so much. But I do think Nesmith could have been a Culver-like player.
And Vandy right now, obviously, not going to be a tournament team.
No.
Because they are 1-8 in conference and 9-13 overall. So don't expect to see him in March popping off. Don't even expect to see him in the NIT because Vandy's at the bottom of the... Well, even if he came back into the year, Vandy's not making the NIT.
But you know what's cool about him? A lot of people think he can score real good and play decent defense. You know who else could score real good and play decent defense in college?
Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson could. So, that's...
I know that because I looked at your computer.
I know, right? And I was like, let me double check this because I know I read some ridiculous ass comp, and I was like,
he got Power 5 school, but not one of the top end ones.
Clay's a much better defender than him.
Yeah, but he was like a Washington.
But he's not someone who's going to get walked off the court because he's a defensive liability.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. And you were looking at the defensive numbers. Naismith had a defensive rating of 105, and that's also inflated by his team being shit.
Yeah.
But 105, 104, still good, and he had an offensive rating of 125. Klay Thompson's highest was 109 in college. So. That speaks right there to your analytics part. Naismith he's so efficient. And if you're going to go out and get a guy, you want one of these efficient killers. And if he's just going to be a bench scorer, that's fine. But in this draft, if you find a guy that can play for your team, that's all that matters.
Just read off the offensive box score plus minus.
His offensive box score plus minus was an 8.8.
You got to stop grabbing it from there.
I'm sorry.
it's Jane.
An 8.8.
Yeah.
Because I didn't hear a word you said. It went...
And that's in 14 games. Injury-wise, I'm not concerned about the injury. Are you? Do you think long-term? No. Okay.
You know what's funny about that comp?
Honestly, I'm not even that worried about any injury unless a guy has a massive concussion. That's the one thing that we haven't been able to figure out. We could take things out of your arm and rebuild you an ACL.
We can rebuild your arm. Yeah, we can rebuild your legs.
We're so good with technology.
You can now come back
I'm not
from
worried.
ACLs like they're nothing.
You can't fix a head.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the only place that I would worry.
Yeah.
And I'm only throwing this out because it would also worry me. If someone had what Chris Bosh had, that.
Yeah, exactly. You can't fix a blood clot.
Heart, head, only things.
Even then, Brandon Ingram had that to a less severe case, and he's been.
What's also funny is I think not to the exact same degrees, but a little bit of the degrees. Klay Thompson and Nesmith, similar. I'm going to say similar drafts because the 2011 draft wasn't littered with guys where it's he's a star. Most of them are
that one had Kyrie, didn't it?
Yeah, Kyrie, Kemba, Klay,
no,
Kawhi.
Kyrie was Kyrie.
So here's the only players who have made an all-star and an all-NBA team were Kawhi, Kemba, Klay, Kyrie.
And I said this earlier too. It's a Kawhi, it's a Giannis
and
draft.
Jimmy Butler.
It's a Kawhi, it's a Giannis draft. This is where scouts truly make their money.
Jimmy Butler in this draft.
This is where scouts make their money.
It's funny when I looked at that. I'm like, oh, that's also a draft. We're like Tristan Thompson. Not a bad player, but he's not a great player.
A player that I'm interested too in, and this is a new player like Nesmith, is Devin Vassell. Yeah. Super interesting. We talked about Florida State being a great program. Dave, you were the first person or you have him at least the highest in coming off your draft. What did you see from him, especially for a fit for the Kings? Because they're going to be losing, good old Bogdanovich.
He's the 3-and-D player of this draft. He is the guy who has incredible help defense. He's like Rocco, bottled, but right now, and he put him in college almost. And that's the thing is he is so good defensively. He's got great instincts. He's got active hands. I don't know his wingspan, but it's got to be like right around 7 feet. Like it's right. It's long. He's got long hands. He's active. He's got a good shot. He's a good 3-point shooter, and he's just got like the entire package of exactly what you're looking for. I think he's someone who can continue to actually rise because there aren't many great 3 wings in the draft this year. So like if you look at the top 10, like all 3 of you are like, well, you got guards and you got Isaac Okoro. That's about it. And Okoro, in my mind, still has a long way to go on his 3-point ball. He's not super similar in play style as Devin, but like that's it. So like if you can make the jump into the top 10, I think he has a skill set that's in demand. I think it's a position of need at the top of the draft, and if he continues playing like he has been, he's going to be a top 10 player.
Wingspan for Vassell 6'9" and 1/4.
That's got to be short.
That's from Seminoles.com.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't believe it. I want the NBA one. He's grown an inch.
That could just be a beginning of the year. That's what we measured him at when he was coming in.
It just feels longer when he's on the court. Maybe it's just watching him play. It just feels like he's got like go gadget arms.
Which is good. Which is still good. Even
One of those
it
guys
really
that
doesn't
just looks
like
bigger.
the wingspan matters. I'm thinking of the Bernie Sanders and his impersonator just being like, "What is the wingspan?" Our guy Vageberg shared that because he was talking about the Magic scouting players, and it's like, "What is the wingspan?" I think Vassell's an extremely encouraging player, extremely interesting player, and I think he would be a great fit for where I have him at 13 to the Pelicans, just because this is a team that you have a great ball mover apparently now in Lonzo Ball. He's been a great fit for that team. I love him there. Yeah. You have a scorer in Brandon Ingram. You have the most efficient player in basketball history, probably outside of Will Chamberlain in Zion Williamson apparently. But you need a player that's going to come off and play great 3-and-D, and they really haven't had that. They thought it was going to be Solomon Hill years ago, but I think they do need a 3-and-D player that doesn't need to have a ton of usage to be effective, and I think that's Devin Vassell. And I think that there are a ton of spots and a ton of teams in this range that he could truly make an impact on, and I would absolutely love Devin Vassell to the Pelicans there, and at least to the Nets. Taking Aaron Nesmith a little bit earlier, I had him taken there.
Oh, okay.
Fits the Joe Harris model, and this is a team that took a shot on Karis LeVert. I think they take a shot on Aaron Nesmith as well a little bit earlier.
Probably gonna be gone.
That's what I meant. Gonna lose Joe Harris, and this is a team that has taken shots before on guys that have been injured in college, but have shown a lot of production, like Karis LeVert back in 2017.
Yeah.
The one thing that I didn't realize before we go into the last thing for this that you brought up is how many guys from Florida State that are just like they're good pros, like Dwayne Bacon, obviously Cobb Jolly just drafted, so it's a little bit too early to tell.
Don't be premature.
But like, how many guys I mentioned Dwayne Bacon already.
You mentioned Dwayne Bacon?
Is the next player also Dwayne Bacon?
I messed up Nikhil Alexander-Walker because of the maroon.
Yeah.
That's what I could think about.
Dwayne Bacon, Malik Beasley, Jonathan Isaac, Cobb Jolly, Terrence Mann.
Yeah, like guys that are not going to be like complete dog shit. Like guys that can actually produce for an NBA team. Last thing I want to mention here.
Complete dog shit.
What? They're not going
to be complete dog shit.
There are some guys where it's like Anthony Bennett. But before we move on to the last topic, who's some guys, one or two, that you can see in the 3.0 being risen up into the top 20?
Yeah, this is my favorite question because I don't know. We always just like these guys. Sadiq Bey from Villanova, where I think we might talk about him.
Top 10.
Love him. Great player on Villanova. Jay Wright knows how to make him. Very interesting as well. Wing player. Has some great measurables that I'm super interested in.
You got him way back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you not know the question?
Jake says,
it's
"Are
from
you suck?"
11 to 20 to 1 to 10.
Oh.
Do you not know the question?
No, I don't. My bad. Devin Vassell would be it.
Vassell's the guy.
Aaron Nesmith would be the two guys there, and Onyeka Okongwu as well for me. So those would be the three guys there. The two guys we talked about, and Onyeka Okongwu.
For me, Devin.
I don't know the question.
No, the thing is, I'm the idiot. I asked the wrong question. You answered the question as I answered it. I just didn't scroll over and read the whole thing. So it's not
white bread.
Me,
so here, you want to restart the question? You want to ask the question again?
We'll do both.
Yeah.
Of them. Here's the first question. Who rises up from this group into the top 10?
Onyeka Okongwu, Devin Vassell, and Aaron Nesmith.
Okay.
I've got Devin Vassell and Obi Toppin.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Obi too.
I feel like a team is going to fall in love with him. He's played well all year,
I
and
could
once he gets the spotlight back on him during a tourney,
I could see a team falling more in love with Obi Toppin than they do Isaac Okoro. I think that could be the decider there. Where Okoro goes is where Toppin could go.
That's, you know what? That's scary to think, but you might be right. Yeah. I don't know.
You don't think the Hornets would fuck that up?
That's
like,
the problem.
Like, you don't think the
earlier
Kings,
when you were talking about like the Cavs
Kings if they got the
third
10
point guard,
yeah,
and I'm like, I mean, like you're not wrong. They've done dumb things.
Basketball teams are stupid.
So yeah, there's potential for that.
I'm gonna go. I was gonna go bold and say Toppin and Reed, but Reed is not gonna have the opportunity to me to play in the tourney to up some stock. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be what Dave usually says in white bread and go Obi Toppin and Okoro.
3.0 Okoro. 3.0, he is not going to be in the top 10, Paul Reed. I don't think he'll ever reach the top 10, but he is a guy that can absolutely play his way up, especially when it comes to the combine. That kid's got disgusting meaurables, plays his ass off, love him.
Yeah. And then the second question of who's a guy that, you know what?
No, that's in the 3.0.
Who's
how many mock drafts?
Who's going to fall out of the 11 through 20?
Okay, that's a good one.
Vernon Carey. Vernon Carey, Josh, are the two for me.
I'm going to go with, I almost want to go with Maladon.
He fell out of mine, surprisingly.
I'm going to say Maladon just because I don't think, it's weird because the answer I'm going to give is out of the point guards, I don't think he's as sexy of a pick. And I think the teams down here are going to look more for a Trey Jones, a Cassius Winston, a guy where it's like, I don't want to have him sit here and develop. I need a guy that's going to help us sooner rather than later.
I had that problem in mind.
I see. That's why I have the Mavericks picking him, and I don't think the Mavericks would take any of those other guys because they currently have Jalen Brunson. They have Luka, obviously.
Yeah.
They have another player.
JJ Barea.
JJ Barea as well. But I think they have another guard that I'm trying to think of. That they just recently drafted that they're in love with. But Maladon just seems like a guy that they would love to take and just try to get their hands on and mold him. I think he would be a fantastic pick there. I don't think they would go away from him.
DeLon Wright?
DeLon Wright.
They traded for him, yeah.
But I think those would be the guys that I think Brunson and Luka would at least be the guys that they go to, and they can have Maladon and they could draft and build him up. And I think he'd be an interesting player in that system.
Because it would fit the Mavericks system of draft, go for a Euro. Yeah. Yeah, why go American? You just go Euro. Yeah.
They had Rodrigo Beaubois once, so there you go. Just take another French guy.
Yeah.
Jake says that Obi has some great potential nickname possibilities.
Obi popping off.
Obi popping. I can't wait for someone to make an Obi-Wan Kenobi reference when it comes to Obi Toppin.
You just did.
But like a more catchier name than just calling him Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Also, Jake confused me when he said, "Are you suck?" Don't know who he was talking about or who he was referencing, but if you're on YouTube, thank you for watching 11 through 20. Make sure to let us know what you think down below and check out our other draft videos.